Well, hello there, people in the right, and hello again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to part 9 of my Doki Doki SNAFU series. In the previous episode, we spent a lot of time with Yuri, reading books, getting tea together. We had a very odd interaction with Monika, of which we need 2 intelligence and 1 social to deal with her, but unfortunately we don't have the intelligence just yet. I'm working on it. And Yuri's affection or appeal counter reset all the way back to 0, then climbed up to 12, and now it's claimed to be max level. So I guess it was just a visual error in the script or whatever that it reset to 0, but it was actually I was actually increasing appeal with Yuri the whole time. So Yuri's on 21, but Yuri's on max apparently. Yeah, it's weekend right now, so finishing my usual morning routine of eating breakfast and having some coffee, I lean against the counter thinking about how to spend my day off. Right, well, we're gonna study because I need to increase my intelligence. Right, we can skip this, apparently. How is intelligence? 7, okay. A faint buzzing sound can be heard while I'm in the middle of rinsing some of the morning's dishes. The source of which turns out to be my cell phone vibrating on the table behind me. Quickly drying my hand and grabbing it, my thumb accidentally lands on the answer before I'm able to check the ID. Hello? Hey, Sayori! Hey, Mark! Ah, good morning, Sayori. Today's Sunday, you know? Shouldn't you still be asleep? Hehehe. My mom made a big breakfast this morning and didn't want it going to waste. She practically drugged me out of... Drug? Me out of bed. Isn't it dragged? Or is drug allowed? I don't know. It sounds a bit odd because I don't really use it. Sounds like she's gotten used to dealing with your shenanigans. Well, at least you got a free meal out of it. Yep, the food was super yummy. Glad to hear that. Though I'm guessing you didn't call just to talk about breakfast. No, I was actually gonna ask if you were busy today. Busy? Why, did you need something? Does wanting to hang out count? Why the hell was the out should also be included in the quotations? Yeah, an excellent question. As far as plans go, I was thinking about going for a jog since the weather's supposed to be nice. Really? This early? I normally go before this actually. Only reason I didn't today was because my alarm wasn't set. How can someone exercise right after waking up? The sound of Sayori shuddering is audible through the line. Better than going in the middle of the day where you have to worry about traffic and other people. That sounds like a very you answer. But if you've already planned to do other stuff, then it's fine. The jogging thing wasn't set in stone, and the 2 of us don't spend our days off together very often. Should I invite her over? Well, if I say no, do I get a chance to get a Yuri moment or not? Or do I'll say no and see if something with Yuri happens or not. If it does happen, then I'll stick with no. If he just goes jogging, then I will say yes, obviously. Sorry, Sayori. You don't have to apologize. I'm the one who called out of the blue. Even though she sounds understanding, there's a hint of disappointment in her voice. See you tomorrow, Mark. Yeah, until then. Okay, so didn't decrease that. The call ends, leaving me to decide how to spend my day. Okay, then studying. Okay, no, okay, nothing happens. Okay, fuck that. In that case, we're spending the day with Sayori. No worries, you coming over won't be a problem. The only reason why I said no was I thought maybe something with Yuri would happen, but no. So in that case, if I can just study or whatever, like fuck that. In that case, I'm glad to have you over, Sayori. Are you sure? Positive. Great, I'll head that way in just a minute. Sounds good. Oh, and where's something easy to move around in? Huh? Easy to move around in? Sayori crosses the street from her house about 15 minutes after our phone call. Mark, why are you out here? Were you waiting for me? That's exactly right. Now that you're here, we can get down to business. Ooh, are we going somewhere? Shopping? A movie? Close. But what we'll be doing is even better than those two combined. Her eyes go wide in anticipation. Prepare yourself, for this is the very first time that the two of us, after so many years, have exercised together. Eh? Wait, did you just say exercise? Yep. Why though? I thought we were supposed to be hanging out. We are. And what better way to build interpersonal relationships than through shared sweat and tears? There are lots of better ways. Geez, is this why you asked me to dress lightly? Of course, going on for a jog while wearing jeans would be setting the difficulty higher than a rookie can handle. Jogging? So that's what you want us to do? Got a problem? Several, actually. She lets out a sigh before staring at the ground. Why suddenly bring me along, though? We could just choose another time to meet up. Don't be mistaken, this event isn't something that was chalked up at the last minute. Huh? Remember when you picked me up from class on the day I joined the club? You told me you had run across the building, so... we wouldn't be late. Yeah, that kind of rings a bell. When I opened the door, you were hunched over, gasping for air. At that point I thought to myself, wow, it's almost sad how terribly out of shape my childhood friend is. Rude? Anyway, I've been playing around with the idea of exposing you to some form of endurance training since then. Which brings us to today. Clearly not fond of my plans, so Yuri begins fidgeting. Well, sure, I might not be in the best shape, but is it really how you want to spend your day off? Of course, my friend's health and well-being are both very important to me after all. That would be more convincing if you actually got along with other people. Don't sweat the little details. So, what'd you say? Willing to give it a shot? She obviously doesn't want to, but it's also terrible at saying no to people. Then how about we sweeten the deal? Perhaps you'd be more motivated if there was a reward attached. Well, maybe. Sort of depends on the reward. In that case, can you think of anything you want from me? You'll do everything I say for the rest of our lives? Think smaller. You stop saying perverted things to me and the other girls? Think smaller. You'll do one thing that I tell you. Kinda sounds like you're trying to trick the genie. How about any one thing that's only in effect for today instead? Deal. Perfect. Now then, bend over. What a way to start. Bend over. Reminds me of that vine from Arthur. Like, not he holds out like a tiny headset, and then his girlfriend or his wife is like, not the headpiece, and he's like, yes, bend over now. I love that vine. I love pretty much all of his vines. But you know, he's holding a tiny headset, and his wife's like, not the headpiece, yes, bend over now. Yeah, when anybody says bend over, I immediately think of that vine. With the headpiece on, completely naked, bend over now. With your luck, you end up pulling or tearing muscle within the first 10 minutes. So we're going to stretch until you can be certified as a contortionist. What on earth is a contortionist? I have absolutely never heard that word ever before. So I'm gonna Google it. Oh, there we go. Contortionist. Oh, Jesus Christ! Is a form of body movement by which the exerciser, through stretching or bending the limbs, stretching takes up unnatural poses with their body, who for an untrained person are physically not possible. And then I receive this picture. It's like, what the fuck? So we're going to train Sayori to do this, apparently. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I still don't know how you pronounce it, but we're going to teach Sayori to fucking fold over like a scorpion. Isn't that kind of extreme? Yes. Bend over now. Saying this, I point my finger straight down towards the dirt. Fine. But can't we go inside first? Stretching out here would be super embarrassing. How? You really think people are going to be passing by at 8:30 AM on a Sunday? No, but... And then 3 seconds later Natsuki walks by. I just know it. Her face grows bright red as she begins tugging on the bottom of her shorts. You said wear something easy to move in, but if I bend over in these... Don't worry, your butt isn't nearly big enough to warrant the neighbor's attention. Mark! She sends a fist flying towards my shoulder, but my prior experience allows me to intercept it. With her wrist in hand, I lead Sayori towards the door. Here, we can use the front hall instead. Sorry for not realizing your situation sooner. Couldn't you have said that in the first place? Are you asking about my psychological possibility or my freedom of choice? My wish is only gonna get worse the more you act like a meanie. I'm willing to take that chance. So what should I do now? Let's start with the basic standing toe touch. Be sure to keep your legs together. Right. Leaning forward, Sayori tries her hardest to get as close to the floor as possible. But can barely reach past her knees. Seriously? Don't they make you do stretches in PE? We're supposed to? That's the one class I thought you wouldn't slack off in. What happened to the always active, perpetually moving girl from my childhood? Old age? Honestly. Stepping forward, I begin lightly pressing down her back. Ow! You okay? The back of my legs just stung there for a second. Let's try going down as far as possible, right? You really will end up pulling something otherwise. Okay. We continue doing this until she's only an inch away from touching her shoes. Next up is the same stretch, but with your legs shoulder length apart. She's unusually quiet as she bends down again, which makes me think she's already lost interest in my joint exercise plan. Which is why I'm totally befuddled by the next thing to come out of her mouth. Do you really think my butt is small? Oi! Aren't you in a strange position to be asking questions like that? You're the one who brought it up. While I may not be standing directly behind her, that doesn't make her current pose any less vulnerable. Wouldn't being slimmer around the waist be a good thing? Or perhaps were you planning on using sex appeal to swindle money out of lonely old men in the near future? Of course not! Is that really the first thing you thought of? No. My first thought was, why was my childhood friend suddenly worried about her butt size? Sure, it may not be as big as Yuri's, but at least she's not sitting on a cutting board like a certain unnamed tsundere. Oh! We're even burning Natsuki while she's not here. Isn't that a pretty big range though? And how do you know how big their butts are? Before we get off on a tangent, would you mind telling me what made you care about this? You never struck me as someone who's overly conscious about their appearance. Are you trying to be mean? No, only acknowledging that your good looks are natural. My sudden compliment disrupts her plan to pout. What about you? If we didn't know each other and you saw me walking around in school, what would you think? I wish I was at home. That's what I meant, not what I meant. Yeah, but hypothetical questions aren't useful for anything. Seriously, if you didn't know each other, do you know how big of a hurdle that is? Just try your best, I really want to know what you'd think. Considering we've been talking about physical appearance, saying, does she know her blazer is supposed to be buttoned, probably wouldn't do me much good. Several compliments do come to mind, but aren't worth much since she wants an unbiased response right now. Maybe something like, she's got nice legs? Even if they are a little pudgy? Hey! Luckily she has a childhood friend who's well versed in maintaining tight quadriceps. So let's go back to the stretching, shall we? You only said that to change the subject, didn't you? Can you blame me? We'd starve to death if I tried complimenting all of your appealing traits. Jeez, there you go again. Having never received a proper answer, Sayori's forced to be content with my sweet nothings instead. We wasted a lot of time getting ready, which ended with us not actually jogging until 9:15. Though this delay was ultimately meaningless as Sayori only kept up for around 30 minutes before screaming bloody murder. Unwilling to let her off easy, I made her walk the rest of the route a few times, only jogging when her complaining slowed down. The clock reads 11 as we arrive back at my house. Sayori hits the floor the second we step inside. Call an ambulance! Oh crap, I didn't read that. Call an ambulance! There's no way I'm gonna survive! Save me the dramatics. You got any of your water left? She responds by rolling an empty bottle towards me. Want another one? Yes, please. Sayori spent the next several minutes resting on the couch while using me as a sounding board for all her displeasures. Oh, my legs are killing me. Don't worry, the lactic acid buildup won't last long. The real pain comes when the shin splints kick in. What? It gets worse? What do you expect after slamming your bones against concrete over and over again? But I thought the exercise was supposed to be good for you. Life's full of disappointments. She leans forward on the couch before beginning to rub her calves. Couldn't we have gone on a cooler day? The sweat's making me feel sticky and gross. Considering we're approaching summer, cooler days are little more than wishful thinking. That said, you're welcome to use my shower if you want. Huh? You still gotta discuss your rewards, right? Figured you might want to wash off beforehand. Oh yeah! Don't tell me you actually forgot. Of course not, it's been on my mind this whole time. Right. A shower sounds like heaven right now, but there's no way I'd survive walking all the way home. And I don't even want to think about having to go upstairs. She shudders at the idea. Just use mine then. Eh? But what about my clothes? I could pick up some from your house, or we could wash the ones you're wearing. It's wrong, you're. Telling my parents you're there to pick up clothes for me probably wouldn't be a good idea. How long will washing these take? Including drying a little over an hour. I'm guessing you don't have a bathrobe I could use until then? Walking around naked is more natural after all. For you, maybe? Well, I've got some old clothes you could wear. But they'd be a bit baggy. She begins fidgeting. Wouldn't wearing your clothes be kind of embarrassing though? You never had a problem doing it when we spent the night together as kids. Almost to the point I thought you were intentionally leaving your clothes at home. I wasn't, I was just really scattered back then. Back then? Be quiet, meanie. Well, those are the options right now. You could also wait until your legs are less sore and then stop by your house. We've got time, seeing as how it's not even noon. Her restlessness becomes more prominent. There another issue? Well, what about underwear? Ah, that's a good question. I've got some old boxes that probably fits. As for the other, there should be at least one thick shirt or windbreaker lying around in my room that should cover everything. Can't you talk with a little more tact? Huh? Never mind. She lets out a sigh before turning her gaze to the hall. That's what I'll do then. Alright. With this plan laid out, I stand up before heading towards the stairs. Just put what you're wearing in the washer. I'll turn it on after dropping off my clothes. Okay. But you better not try peeping. Obviously. Why does everyone assume I'm some kind of sex fiend? Do you really have to ask? Well, yes. After both taking showers separately, the two of us... Thank you for spelling that out. I mean, I already assumed, but, you know. The two of us discussed Sayori's reward while her clothes were in the washer. Sticking to her guns from earlier, she demanded I take her to eat lunch and see a movie. Which is exactly what we did once she had gotten redressed. Unlike the hectic stretching session and exercise expedition, our outing was relatively peaceful, with the two of us simply enjoying one another's company. Sociability increased by 3. Alright. We got some more appeal, obviously. Monday, April 25th. After gathering my things and finishing breakfast, I prepared to leave the house. Who should I walk to school with? Alright, let's walk with Kiba for a change. Yeah, hello! My skin crawls at this what? At this... As this is exclaimed behind me. What the hell was that? You mean my new greeting? What do you think? Pretty cool, ain't it? So cool that you should probably be reported for committing crimes against humanity. Come on, surely it's not that bad. Given that you only ever deviate from your usual routine because of something you've seen in anime or manga, am I right in assuming that this is also the case here? Whoa, you know me super well. I'm kind of embarrassed. Am I not blushing like some love-struck schoolgirl? It's disturbing on a fundamental level. Oh, and what's got you acting all prickly this morning? Did something happen? Woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Have you ever stopped to consider that maybe you're the cause? Hey, you're such a kid, Mark. Would you not slap me back while acting like nothing's happening? Oh, would you not slap my back while acting like nothing's happening? Thanks for bringing up anime, by the way. I actually started watching this new one recently about ignoring my pleas. Kiba uses me as a sounding board for the rest of our commute. I get the feeling that Kiba may try spending time with me in the near future. Oh, you can't... You're not allowed to be romantically involved with Kiba. Friends scene available. Everyone's already tending to their own devices when I enter the club room. Right, I still don't have enough intelligence for Monika, right? No. Who do we talk to? Let's spend time with Natsuki for a change. Oh, well, there's nothing to skip. Let's talk to Natsuki for a change. Just how much manga do you keep in the closet exactly? Huh? She turns towards me to sit in an adjacent chair. Why do you want to know? No reason. Was only hoping to make conversation. Can't you go make conversation with someone else? I'm kind of busy here. She holds up the volume on her desk as though leisurely reading counts as busy work. I could, yes, but you're our lucky winner today, unfortunately. Does getting annoyed by you really count as a prize? Sorry, but I'm afraid finances have been limited ever since our company's failed expansion into the opioid market. Speaking of contraband, mind telling me how much manga you've got stored in there now? 3 boxes, and each one has a full series in it. 3, huh? I'm guessing you keep the rest at your house? Something like that. She seems abnormally evasive when answering this, though I'm in no position to ask why. I want to finish this volume before the club ends. So could you go somewhere else now? Oh, right. Having apparently put her in a bad mood with my presence question or both, I decide leaving Natsuki to her own devices is the best idea. I get the feeling there may be an opportunity to improve our relationship soon. Oh, that was not a positive interaction with Natsuki. We barely did anything. Oh, we could also go the Natsuki route. But Yuri is maxed out! The lunch period starts after this class. Who should I eat with? Yuri! Shortly after we began making small talk, our conversation lands on the cafe where we held our first book discussion. Do you visit there frequently? Maybe not frequently, but if I'm ever in the mood for a change of scenery, I'll stop in for a coffee and do a bit of studying. Studying? Do the other patrons not distract you? Assuming there even are other patrons. The answer would be no. I'm more or less adept at blocking out external stimulus while focusing on work or reading. A trait we share, I'm sure. Well, to be honest, my immersion in books is often accidental, and has even gotten me reprimanded on various occasions. Sounds as though I'm not the only one she ignores for several minutes at any given time. I see. Guess joining a club where you're free to read totally uninterrupted was a smart move then. While being around unfamiliar people was worrisome at first, I've never once regretted the decision. Never once, huh? Is there something troubling you, Mark? Instead of confessing my unease, her genuine concern is instead met with a standard issue lie. Not at all, I was just reminiscing a bit. Of the day you joined? Something along those lines. I see. That was a rather memorable meeting. If by memorable you mean hectic, I fully agree. What started as a deflection ends up becoming a full conversation, with the next several minutes being dedicated to my first day. I get the feeling Yuri's shell may chip open a bit more in the near future. I keep saying that. It's at max for now, but it is actually increasing more. With the school day winding down, I have to decide where to go after the final bell. Yeah, obviously club meeting. Oh, they switched it around so that you can't always click the top one. Mark! I'm nearly knocked to the floor as an enthusiastic Sayori comes tumbling towards me. Whoa, easy there, where's the fire? Good afternoon, Mark. It's nice to see you again. Sayori, why'd you suddenly run off? Oh, it's you. It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me. You did what? One of these things is not like the other. So, are you excited? About what? I watch as the childlike gleam in her eyes begins to fade. Seriously, how do you not know? Golden Week starts this Friday. Golden Week? But that's not until the 29th. Wait, isn't the 29th this upcoming Friday? Ah, unbelievable. How does a guy like this even get by in life? Ever heard of gigolos? Ignore him, Yuri. He's just a pervert with no sense of time. I thought she said humor. Time. That's not true. I knew today was the 27th after all. You're not gonna deny the pervert part? Wondering why she hasn't stepped in to interrupt my shenanigans yet, I look over to see Sayori blankly staring into the void. See, look what you did. She was super excited before you walked through the door. Sorry to have killed the moose. But I'm excited now that I know Friday is the first day of Golden Week. Well, not really, but Sayori's joy shouldn't be a casualty of my ignorance. I don't know what Golden Week is. By the way? Really? Really? You seriously meant it? Yeah, 100%. She stares at me with uncertainty for a moment before beginning to smile. Yay, I knew you'd feel that way. This girl's defense is way too low. Sayori has been rather enlivened since arriving in the club room. More like manic. She's practically been bouncing off the walls. I'm just really looking forward to all the festivals. Okay, so it's a festival thing. Honestly, you can be such a kid sometimes. But I guess having someone like that around is okay every now and then. Natsuki? Hey, get off me! Or get off of me! It seems as though the upcoming break has everyone in high spirits. Well, Sayori isn't the hardest person to please. What about you, Yuri, feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed under that cool demeanor? Indeed, though perhaps not as much as those two. The time off will allow me to work through my backlog of novels. There's also the appeal of getting to attend the events with my family. Do you not mind all the people? Well, we do tend to steer clear of places that are overly crowded, which I'm sure is partly due to their consideration for me. I see. What about you, Mark? Planning to go anywhere with your... Yuri! She begins panicking as Sayori comes flying from across the room before latching onto her. You'll never believe this! Natsuki called me clingy! Isn't that terrible? Well, I... Hurry up and let her go, Sayori! You'll fry all of her nerves otherwise. Ah, but she's so soft and her hair smells super good. Stop sniffling her! Alright, playtime's over. Saying this, I hoist Sayori off of what's become the club's new state-of-the-art speak-and spell. With my arms firmly around her stomach, Sayori's held slightly off the floor, nearly 2 feet away from Yuri. Hey, put me down! Not until you agree to behave yourself. Why am I being treated like I'm some kind of little kid? Little kid is an understatement. Right now you're acting more along the lines of a horny dog. Mark? My grip is tested as she begins struggling to break away. If you want down, just agree to be on your best behavior. That's not gonna work. Why not? Seriously, how dense are you? She obviously wants you to keep holding... Natsuki! Having already drained most of my strength, this second wave of floundering is what finally sets Sayori free. Try not to pull any more stunts like that, would ya? You're heavier than you used to be. I mean, my arms are weaker? Mind putting the lover's quarrel on hold until we've resuscitated Yuri? You don't have to worry about me, I'm quite alright. Sayori just caught me by surprise is all. Sorry about that. But you really do smell amazing, kinda like flowers. That's not... I'm kinda jealous. You're tall, your skin is nice and soft. That's the wrong... Yeah, that's the correct your, and then that one is wrong. Those are wrong. Oh, whoops. Your skin is nice and soft, your hair is long and silky. That's the wrong your again. And your boobs feel super good. Natsuki is like, what the hell? Yeah. The atmosphere in the room becomes so heavy following these words that it feels as though the fabric of reality itself is about to crack under the pressure. Oops, just remembered I was supposed to spend the next 45 minutes in the restroom. See ya. I don't bother looking back after stepping into the hallway. Oh great, Monika. Mark? Monika noticed me from the top of the stairs. Are you going somewhere? Sayori! Huh? Was that Yuri just now? Seems so. Did something happen? Seems so. Is that why you're leaving? Seems... Tsk. Would you cut that out and tell me what's going on already? Some choice of words were exchanged. The situation escalated. Great. How about giving me something more helpful? Don't worry, I'm sure you'll be able to piece things together. Isn't that right, class star? We were supposed to discuss the club's plan for Golden Week. But if you're leaving and the girls are in an uproar, I suppose it can wait until tomorrow. So we are planning to do something over the break. Of course. I just finished finalizing the details with our advisor. Good to know. Now then, guess I'll head out so you can start cleaning up the mess. See ya! How very chivalrous. Waving behind me, I make my way towards the staircase. I literally just escape. So I'm not in a mood to deal with that. Yo. Huh? Sayori faces me from the door. Mark, you're still here? Where have you been? Library? Oh. So, how'd things go? Any good cat fights? Well, I feel kinda dumb. And what could have possibly caused that, I wonder? A shadow begins falling over her face. Was she mad? I don't think so, just really embarrassed. Did you apologize? Of course, there's no way I wouldn't have. Did she accept your apology? Well, she said she did. But I still feel really bad about doing that. Guess they call you the #1 numbskull for a reason. People say that? Ow! My chop lands in the dead center of her forehead. Being excited about Golden Week is fine, but don't go forgetting other people's boundaries because of it. I open my bag and rustle through the contents before grabbing hold of a single book. Here, find the time to give her this tomorrow. A novel? She scans over the cover. 13 stories? Yuri mentioned wanting to get a copy, but said the bookstore she visits hasn't stocked it yet. Then why do you have one? Came across the title while looking through the new releases list online. The website was linked to a retailer, so I bought a copy and had it delivered to my house. Yuri doesn't know any of this, meaning she'll think it's coming from you. Have you already read the full thing? Nope, only about a quarter. Then I really shouldn't. Don't worry. Knowing Yuri, she'll try loaning it to me the second she's finished. She stared at the cover once more, the shadow of her face growing darker. But won't this mean you solved the problem even though I was the one who caused it? Consider this repayment for helping me earlier. Helping you? Yeah. Right before you jumped on her, Yuri asked if I was spending Golden Week with my parents. Really? Did you say anything? I didn't have a chance to. Your timing was so perfect I thought you may have done it on purpose. I had no idea. Then this makes us even. Don't let what happened today go to waste though. Remember this event next time you start getting too comfortable with someone. I will. And thanks Mark, I'll do my best to make up with her tomorrow. Glad to hear it. Resolving herself to the future. Sayori takes my side before stepping through the exit. The tense and gloomy vibe she had before has completely dissipated, leading to a more peaceful and calm atmosphere. Which of course makes me want to ruin things. So, how did her boobs feel? Ah! I knew there was no way you'd be nice for that long, you big jerk. Our interactions have returned to normal by the time we arrive home. It's still pretty early in the day, there's nothing currently demanding my attention. Well, we study, of course. Skip that. Okay, so how is... Still rank 1. I'm slowly getting there. Wednesday. With the final bell about to ring, I think about where to head after school. Well, obviously we got literature club. Alright, I still can't talk to Monika. I still don't have the intelligence for that. Let's just talk to Yuri. Here's looking over a piece of a notebook paper as I walk over. Written in an elegant and cursive style, it appears to be a list of book titles, one I'm assuming she has created. Trying to decide what to read next? Huh? Oh, hello Mark. I'm sorry for not noticing you sooner. No worries, you look pretty deep in thought. Well, I'll admit that I am having some trouble. Taking a seat in front of her, I begin looking over the sheet of paper more carefully. These look familiar. Haven't you read some of them before? All of them, actually. They're titles that I've finished within the last 6 months. 6 months, huh? No offense, but... What? It's a lot shorter than... I'd expect. The list? Is that what you mean? But the list is a lot shorter than I expect. A keen observation. This isn't every novel I've read within that past time period. Only ones that were published within the last 2 years. Only books you've read in the past 6 months that were released within the last 2 years. Mind telling me why you composed such a specific list? Not at all. A book report was assigned in my modern literature class. We were given a freedom to choose the title, so I was simply reviewing which ones would be the easiest to work with. A book report? Now that you mention it, my class was assigned something similar not too long ago. The due date wasn't for several weeks, so it kinda slipped my mind. If I'm remembering correctly, the only stipulation was that the basis of the report had to have been published within the last 2 years. The only stipulation was that the basis of the report had to be... Okay. Forgive me for making assumptions, but have you perhaps not begun yet? You could say that. Why does Yuri thinking I'm a slacker make me feel guilty? Well, like you mentioned before, there is still plenty of time before the due date. As you can see, I'm still in the beginning phases of myself. That's still probably more than what most people have done at this point. Reviewing the list again, I try finding something usable for my own report. Looks like that won't be easy. Just thinking out loud. Though, considering how it's not on the list, I take it the Killing Game doesn't meet the criteria. It was published in 2010, so over a decade ago. Yeah, I guess it was a little... I was a little late to the party on that one. Surely there must be something you've read that would work. You're probably right, but nothing else really stands out in my mind. Having lingering feelings towards a novel I've finished is a pretty rare occurrence. What about you? Got any top contenders? At the moment I'd probably select this one. A finger lands on the line reading The Portrait of... There it is! There it is! The Portrait of Markov. It took a little while, but we got there in the end. That sounds pretty ominous. What's it about? Well, it would be difficult to summarize quickly. A deep one, huh? Gotcha. Actually, seeing how you've already put this together, would you mind recommending me one? Huh? You want me to choose? If that's alright. I have a tendency to become indecisive when given instructions that are too broad. Getting lent a hand would certainly be helpful. But still, you're already aware of the genre I'm partial towards. Surely you don't wish to base your own grade around something so unusual? Psychological horror may be... How the hell do you even pronounce it? Is it niche? Niche? I still don't know how you pronounce that. Also, shouldn't there be like a little thing above the E? But it still has a large and devout fanbase. People would probably be more surprised to hear that I've read several articles about gardening. Genre aside, you clearly have a passion for literature. I'll trust your judgment regardless of what you choose. Her face becomes slightly flushed. I'm really not worth your praise. But if it means helping a fellow member of the club, then I'll do my best. She nods vigorously to herself. Glad to see you're motivated. Having resolved herself to this new duty, she returns her attention to me. About what you said. Is it true you've read about gardening? Not that it's strange or anything, I'm just a little surprised. Well, something like that. But don't come to me next time you want to grow flowers. This was several years ago. Hydrangeas? I see. The thought of you working with flowers is amusing though. Imagining me in an apron and sun hat? I'll take that as a yes. The bug. Still, secret giggle makes it almost too hard to bully the girl. Guess I'll let this one slide. Regarding the report, do you still have a copy of any of these books? Don't worry. I took that into account when I compiled the list. but I complied the list. Lending you one wouldn't pose any issue. Thanks, Yuri, you're a saint. You're giving me too much credit. That said, being a complete freeloader doesn't sit right with me. I would suggest helping compile the reports, but I doubt my assistance would be useful for someone with your level of expertise. Wait, that's not true? There was something I was rather worried about regarding the actual writing. It's embarrassing to admit, but I have a tendency to ramble when it comes to literature I enjoy. Wouldn't that be good for a school project? She shakes her head. There is a 2-page limit, and I always have a hard time deciding what information should be included. Last time there was an assignment like this, the teacher scolded me for writing too much. How much is too much exactly? 7 pages? Ah. I can see how that would be an issue. Well, my services might not meet expectation, but I'd be willing to proofread your work in return for helping me. Really? Sure, no problem. Thank you, Mark, I'm relieved. Save? Holy hell, they're really like going crazy with all the spelling mistakes all of a sudden. Save the thanks for when I've actually done something, for now. Oh, for now? I place my finger on the sheet of paper. Right, I'll circle the ones you may enjoy. As she begins doing so, I glance over at the clock. Something like this would probably take too long to be done in the club. I agree. Only working within the allotted meeting times would be quite disruptive. You could write it up at home and leave the proofreading for when we're here, but the back and forth of that isn't exactly efficient. Perhaps you could have another meeting outside of the club, similar to what we did for our discussion of the killing game. That may work. Got any locations in mind? Since we'll be doing work, I prefer we were someplace private. Focusing would be hard otherwise. That's true, you can never be sure about people. We both think over the problem for a moment. Would it be possible to use one of our houses? Not a bad idea. Admittedly, that was the first thing that came to my mind, but it's still surprising how casually she suggests doing things that could otherwise be misinterpreted. Do you still remember where I live? Indeed, finding your house again shouldn't be an issue. Then that's covered. This should help as well. Yuri, having taken her phone out, begins typing a message, leaving mine to vibrate shortly after. I've sent you my home address, just in case it would be more convenient to meet there. Your house, huh? Some devious thoughts come to mind, but I quickly repressed. Now all that's left to do is to decide when to meet. You mentioned before the discussion that after school would be best, right? That's correct. However, my parents have been stricter about having me study since entrance exams are approaching, so it may not be that easy. Don't worry, I'm typically not engaged in anything overly important after school. So just let me know when you've got the time. Right, thanks for being so considerate. The two of us spent the rest of the meeting ironing out little details while also chatting casually. Alright. Sort of a study date with Yuri, then. Yeah, it's 16, but it's max. The number just keeps changing for some reason. Alright, Thursday. April 28th. Alright, I'll end it off here. Hope you Romans enjoyed it. Click the like button if you did. Subscribe to join the Roman army, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later, Romans. Valete.